Hi, I'm Jordana Michelle, lesbian love coach and creator of Women Wanting Women, the place to be to find and keep lesbian love and to learn the secrets of how women attract each other. And there are links below if you want free access to some of what I teach there. But in this video, I want to talk about lesbians and their ex-girlfriends and the friendships that we often maintain with the women that we used to date. And this is a really important topic because I get emails all the time from women all over the world saying basically this. They've met someone new, they're super excited about her, it's really intense, they know that they're about to have a relationship, but they're freaking out because this woman has an ex that's still in her life, and they're really close, and she doesn't know what to do about it. I have a lot of exes that I'm still friends with. Just the other night, I was hanging out with one of my exes, Gwendolyn, who's one of my best friends, and actually we were out with her ex because that's what usually happens. It's usually me and Gwendolyn and Kristen, and we have a blast together, and I absolutely adore them. And some of my favorite nights are the nights that the three of us end up going out. We have so much fun, and it's such a beautiful friendship. I have another ex named Carrie who I used to date. And it was like every time we would hang out, it was always 2 or 3 of her other exes who, instead of it being weird or making me feel weird when I was dating Carrie, actually it was so much more fun when they were around because they're these wonderful women. They all treated each other so nicely. They always made me feel like I was so welcome. It made dating Carrie even more fun than that already was, and it was such a great relationship. Just my last relationship, when we went to her home country, when we went back to Chile, we spent basically the whole time with her ex from high school, Romina, who was just the sweetest, most lovely, wonderful person you could ever imagine. And even though my ex and she, they still had some feelings from each other lingering since they were separated kind of in a crazy way back in high school, there was no part of me that needed to be jealous of it because I understood that Romina was so important to her, and also I was so grateful to her because she was able to be there for the woman that I loved back in a time when, before I knew her, when I lived in a different part of the world, and she was there to sort of protect her in ways that I never in this lifetime could have done. And I felt only gratitude and love for this person. And she was just wonderful and amazing and took such good care of me while I was there. So why create jealousy when you can just instead enjoy this beautiful relationship that gets to be a beautiful part of my life or our own lives just as much as it becomes it is a beautiful part of their lives. You know, when it comes to lesbians who are friends with their ex, it could be the most supportive, amazing, wonderful kind of friendship that exists. Our exes, we know each other so well. We spend so much time, if the relationship is a good one, we spend so much time building just caring for each other's well-being and getting to know each other's internal perspectives and life maps and understanding each other's secrets and the way that we feel about things and the way that we are. Oftentimes with our exes, we develop sort of an unspoken language that we can really understand them even if they're not saying anything to us. You know, when a relationship is good, the foundation of a lesbian relationship is a deep, beautiful kind of friendship that, as long as it's done in a healthy way, can over time transition into an amazing, beautiful, platonic friendship. And there does need to be that space. Usually this isn't something that can just happen overnight. There oftentimes needs to be some amount of space. There oftentimes needs to be maybe the one who got broken up with needs to be in a new relationship, for example. There's oftentimes different ways that to prevent, for example, mixed feelings that still exist, or getting, because when we're in a relationship, a lot of times there could be some degree of codependency, not necessarily unhealthy codependency, but every partnership has some amount of 2 people depending on each other, and after the breakup, you sort of need to heal that and move on separately so that when you come together as friends, it's not in some sort of needy, dependent, not in an inappropriate way, because to be needy and dependent on someone that, it's not appropriate, and it would be very hard to start a new relationship with someone else if you were still needy and dependent on your ex. So it's very important at the end of a relationship for there to be a proper separation period. But after that separation, it really can become one of the most beautiful kinds of relationships that exists. And so if we meet someone new and she has a relationship like that in her life, that's the sort of thing that can be celebrated. It means that you have a sister soldier out there who is on your side in taking care of the well-being of this woman that you want to love. It means that this woman has more support. It means that she has someone who's looking out for her interests, someone else that she can call upon. Relationships are hard and life is hard, and the more support that we can have in this lifetime, the more blessed we are in every way. So if we meet someone new and she is blessed enough to have that kind of friendship, then the last thing we want to do is ruin it with our jealousy, because jealousy is not hot, especially misplaced jealousy. If there is jealousy that's well-founded, then probably it shouldn't remain jealousy very long. It should start as jealousy for a minute, but then it should turn into action telling us, hey, look, something's wrong here. I'm feeling really, really bad, and I'm feeling bad for a good reason, and it's because my partner is acting inappropriately. And that's not a cause for jealousy, it's a cause for action. It's a cause for saying this either is going to be remedied, or I'm going to have to leave this relationship, because there's no one in the world that deserves our abuse. So of course, in any situation where our partner is being inappropriate, jealousy is a natural response, but it shouldn't be some sort of prolonged state. But it shouldn't exist when our ex has a beautiful, healthy relationship with someone they used to date. That's something that should be embraced by us. And if that's hard to do, it might mean that we need to seriously work on the relationship that we have with jealousy. Because of course, it's going to be normal when we first meet this person. If we're in love with someone and we know that she has a deep connection with someone else, there's going to be a part of us that, might be suspicious at first, or might really be curious to figure out who this person is. But if it's not a toxic relationship, that's a good opportunity for us to learn how we handle jealousy when it arises, because jealousy is not hot, and it's not good for us if it's going to be harmful for other people's relationships. But again, if we meet someone and she has an ex that she's close with and it's not a good relationship, or if it's unhealthy, or if it's toxic, that means that we are looking at a major red flag. Any toxic relationship is a red flag for us, and there's no way to know how that would play out in the long run, but it does mean that to whatever degree we're signing up for something dangerous. And so a toxic relationship that someone has with their ex is a major red flag, and it's something really important to examine. But again, if we know inherently that we're a very jealous person, we have to find a way to examine it objectively and not letting our fears get in the way, because it's too important. It's so important not to show up with unnecessary jealousy, and it's so important to help our partners protect the important friendships and the important relationships they have in their lives, because we only live once, and those are some of the most precious things we have. Relationships are some of the most precious things that we have in this world, and we want to foster those if we're with someone that we really love, that's a good relationship. That's the sort of thing we want to foster in her. And if it doesn't work out, then hopefully what you had together is going to be beautiful enough that you'll always stay friends anyway. So bottom line, if you meet someone new, be careful with your jealousy, but if you see that her relationship is toxic, then be careful about that. And if you have any exes in your life, then carefully examine whether or not that's a toxic relationship, because even though you might feel super attached to that person, if they're causing danger or damage in your life, no matter how scary it might be to think about detaching and losing them, it's not as bad as the consequences and the costs you'll eventually have to face from having a toxic relationship in our lives. It's really bad for us. But of course, all of this really depends on a case-by-case basis. And if you're ever in a situation where you want to talk to me personally about something that's going on in your dating life, whether it's a new partner's ex or any other thing that comes up, I do take one-on-one individual clients, and you can learn more at womenwantingwomen.com/coaching. And I will have a link to that below. So in the meantime, if any of you are single, just keep remembering that hot lesbians are everywhere, that love is real, and that the woman of your dreams is on her way into your life in perfect timing. And I will see you in the next video.